In our last video, we analyzed board length, board volume in relation to your body weight. And we want to follow up here on comments and learn about sinker starts, knee starts. In this video, we want to look at semi-sinker boards with plus minus 20 liters negative buoyancy, such as the one behind me. We will learn the knee start. We will talk about the setups for a knee start. We're going to look at some footage. We're going to talk about, does it make sense? Some comments about board volume. I had this one comment from a guy that claimed that the guys over at Lift are telling people to stay away from boards that have the same liters than your body weight in kilos. I personally think that's complete nonsense. They also say either have a full buoyant board or have a full sinker. Don't have anything in between. I think if you are an intermediate sailor, I think your neutral buoyancy is actually really perfect. You are progressing into a smaller board from where you can take it further and go into a semi-sinker board, or you just keep with this board like I did for such a long time and you have plenty fun, lots of performance. Today we want to look at the knee start. I want to look with you guys on how to handle a board that is semi-submerging. And that is just not that easy. In the beginning, you're bobbing around. You are just having so much troubles finding the right pivot point to find your balance on the board, kneeling on the board and pushing this thing down. Then you're turning downwind with the board. There's a whole technique and it's a lot of practice, and I sure was hating it, but it's worth the time in my opinion. Once you get it down, it is really worth the while going on a smaller board. And in this particular case, I had this 55 liter mid-length Armstrong board paired with a 4-meter wing, paired with a 75 kilo rider, and I was actually kind of glad it was not that windy, and it was really wavy and the conditions were kind of difficult, which gave me a little bit of a struggle, which is good for this video because you guys can see how this is just not that easy. My daughter was along with me, and I have a real good case study where she is kneeling on the board, holding on to the wing, almost ready to go, but she's just shifting her weight a little bit too far back, bringing her butt down, and what happens? She's tilting back into the water towards the tail, and the board gives away from underneath her. And that is something that happens to the most of us in the beginning, that you are not centering your weight over the board, particularly with your chest. You want to have your chest centering over the board, turning downwind. And then you can see the key is really to use your wing as a crutch. Use your wing so you can hold on to it and you can lean onto it until you found the right balance. And then you transition your hands from your leading edge to one hand go quickly underneath to the strut, and that's when you can start to bring your wing into the wind. And of course, if it's nuking, your wing will grab the wind right away, giving you additional stability. And as soon as you have full powered wing, it is really easy to get up. In fact, you're just gonna get pulled up. In my case, you guys can see that really cool there. I was struggling with the wind or with the wing size because the wind was just not right there. I'm putting too much weight on my back foot. I am trying to get out of the water. I can't. And boom, there I fall in. But once you have a good gust, once you have a good powered up wing, now it is really easy to get out of the water. Concluding this thing, yes, you do not need to go on a sinker board. You can easily go with your positive buoyancy or with your neutral buoyancy board and have fun all day long. If you want to progress, and I'm telling you guys one thing, it is too much fun riding smaller boards. And with those mid-length boards, you can also prone foil them, which is a really big plus what goes as far as versatility. I really think this whole thing comes down to personal choices, your skill level, and also your spot. Like here on Maui, it is windy all the time. I have days where it's nuking so hard, even a 2.5 meter wing is too much. And even a guy like me can get a sinker board started. I did it once years ago as a experiment, but I will maybe make a video and try this again, where you are completely submerged in the water and standing on your board. But it really comes down to your spot. How windy is it? How consistent is the wind? Do you have wind on the outside but not on the inside? Wind direction, how comfortable do you feel? I have to say, with those little boards, going further out into the ocean, it always makes me a little nervous. I just always feel there's something can happen, and then you're sitting on a puny board. All it needs to happen is a bladder pop and you're 3-5 miles out, and oh boy, it happened to me once. Not the bladder popped, but I lost my board, and you feel really little, really fast, real quick. So for out here, when I ride a small board, it's either in Kanaha, where I know I'm going to end up on shore regardless, or I'm going to stay close in at my home spot, so I know I can paddle to shore without being subject to the trade winds and then go way down, way far off. And also safety gear, guys. Get yourself an e-perp, get yourself signal gear, and be safe out there, because the ocean can be a very unforgiving place.